of the Committee on Labor and Employment, and also former movie industry stalwart, no other than Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, good afternoon. Your Committee on Labor, Employment and Human Resource Development, joint with the Committee on Public Information and Mass Media, is honored to sponsor Senate Bill number 2505 under Committee Report number 175, entitled An Act Protecting the Welfare of Workers in the Movie and Television Industry, or simply known as the Eddie Garcia Law. This substitute measure is a consolidation of Senate Bill numbers 450, 1889, and 460 filed by Senators Padilla, Lapid, and this representation, including Senator Revilla, taking into consideration House Bill number 1270, which had already been approved on final reading earlier this year. Nakakalungkot man banggitin, Ginoong Pangulo, pero ang panukalang ito ay bunga ng aksidente sa television shooting na naging dahilan ng pagkamatay ng batikang aktor na si Eddie Garcia noong 2019. Despite his age, he was 90 years old at that time, the screen legend remained active in doing movies and television series. This unfortunate incident and his untimely demise, which shocked the industry, led some actors and workers to push for reforms, calling out dangerous working conditions, especially on the set, thus paving the way for this measure. Mr. President, this measure was put forward in order to ensure that workers, especially those who work behind the cameras and work tirelessly, even beyond normal working hours, are provided opportunities for gainful employment and decent incomes, and are protected from abuse, extended working hours, harassment, hazardous working conditions, and economic exploitation. We have included specific provisions on social welfare benefits and insurance for work-related incidents or deaths that would provide the much-needed security and protection in an industry known for its unpredictable nature. Matagal nang sinasabi ng movie at television industry ay isang peculiar industry or isang unique industry. Tila naging normal na rin para sa mga artista at manggagawa ang magtrabaho ng mahabang oras, sa puntong umaabot pa ng 36 na oras o higit pa, non-stop at palipat-lipat ng lokasyon para lamang maihabol ang petsa ng film showing o airing ng TV series. While we acknowledge that this is indeed a unique industry, stakeholders admitted during our public hearings and consultations that there have been a lot of abuses regarding prolonged work hours, which, in effect, could be detrimental to the health of the artists, producers, and workers. In fact, there had been reports that some deaths in the industry may be attributed to burnout as a result of stretched working hours. And not only that, despite working extended hours sans turnaround time, they usually do not have social safety nets, security of tenure usually accorded to regular workers, and waiting or rest areas on the set. Naranasan ko po rin yan, Ginoong Pangulo. Nung ako'y nagsisimula pa lamang bilang isang artista, gigising ka na madaling araw para maghanda. Pupunta sa probinsya at darating sa call time na alas 6 ng umaga, pero kukunan ka ng alas 9 ng gabi. Wala po ako magagawa kasi hindi po ako katulad ni Bong Revilla, Lito Lapid at Robin Padilla na ngayon superstar. But kidding aside, this has been the unregulated practice in the industry for so long. And many have already accepted that this is the norm in the movie and TV industry. Mas kawawa po ang mga production staff, logistics crew, at iba pang nagpapagod sa likod ng kamera. Mas maaga po ang call time nila at nauna sila ng ilang araw sa set dahil kailangan nila mag-impake ng bulto-bultong gamit, maglatag ng kable, magpintura o mag-set up ng lighting. Minsan, iba-iba pa ang set location. Sila rin ang huling aalis pagkatapos ng shoot para magligpit ng gamit. The World Health Organization and the International Labor Organization warned that excessive hours, lack of rest, and life-threatening levels of fatigue are increasing deaths from heart disease and stroke worldwide. According to a joint report released in 2021, more than 745,000 people died in 2016 from heart disease and stroke related to working more than 55 hours per week, making long working hours as one of the biggest occupational health hazards. The World Health Organization and the ILO also estimates that exposure to long working hours reduces life expectancy and diminishes the quality of life. Physical and mental strain of overworked people can start from fatigue, stress, impaired sleep, and unhealthy lifestyle changes. In addition, overworking work performance and results in productivity loss due to illness or occupational injuries. Of course, for a country like the Philippines, extended working hours in this industry means bigger pay, actually higher than the prevailing minimum wage. Sino naman ang may ayaw nito? Your family can have a fairly decent life compared with regular workers. Ika nga, kayod, kalabaw at lagare hanggat kaya ng katawan. And this has become lucrative, especially for youngsters and heads of the family. They have higher take-home pay for their families. Eventually, however, Mr. President, extended working periods will take a toll on your health. Not only that, time with your family also suffers. And the sad fact is, when the worker quits, the worker will just get replaced. And this recurrent practice just continues. Stress-related illnesses or mental health issues arising from this unhealthy yet under-recognized and overlooked practice in the movie and TV industry often go unnoticed, especially for the production crew, maybe for fear of being replaced and for economic uncertainties. And in order to be consistent with the Philippine Labor Code and the International Labor Standards on working time, this committee deemed it fit to put a premium on the protection and safety of workers in both the film and TV productions. Mr. President, how would workers be able to keep working for their passion and the industry they love if the same industry takes advantage of them? It is high time that we regulate this long-standing practice, and we need to institute measures to impose standards and bring about change. Under this proposal, Mr. President, normal work hours shall be 8 hours a day, up to a maximum of 14 hours, exclusive of meal periods, or a total of 60 hours in a week. Workers aged 60 years old and above shall be allowed, under exceptional circumstances as defined by the Tripartite Council, to work beyond 8 hours to 14 hours a day. Workers shall also be governed by an employment contract to protect their interest, which shall include, among others, pertinent details about the job and its description, as well as the work hours and commensurate rate or any applicable benefits. Workers who have existing projects or contracts with other production outfits should also not be discriminated against unless exclusivity is specified. Mr. President, enacting this legislation would ensure that these measures that seek to protect workers in the movie and television industry would be properly implemented and upheld. We cannot allow karoshi, a Japanese term which means death by overwork, to continue in our film and TV industry. Simply, we cannot go on like this. Ginoong Pangulo, alam naman po ng ating mga kababayan na mula ako sa industriya ng pelikulang Pilipino, kagaya ng ilan nating kasamahan dito sa Senado. Napakalaki po ang aking tinatanaw na utang na loob sa industriyang pinanggalingan ko. At ang panukalang ito, ang pagbibigay-pugay ko sa pagsasakripisyo at pagsusumikap ng mga manggagawa sa ating industriya. We really owe the success of every film or TV production to these workers. This is our tribute not just to Manoy, but also to the industry's dedicated workers. Let us immortalize the legacy of Manoy Eddie Garcia through this bill. Hinihikayat ko po ang aking mga kapwa mambabatas na suportahan ang panukalang ito na hindi lamang magbibigay ng proteksyon sa kapakanan ng TV at movie industry workers, kundi pati rin bigyan sila ng respeto at dignidad. The daughter of Mr. Fernando Po Jr., the king of Philippine movies, Senator Grace Po, informed this representation that she wishes to be a co-author of this measure. Thank you, Mr. President, and to my dear colleagues.